You're listening to the Career Plus Life Catch-Up, episode number 48. Welcome to the Career Plus Life Catch-Up, a show anchored in reality to help you create a balanced life where you enjoy both your work and your life, because you don't have to choose. I'm your host, Cecile Ferry, a corporate executive turned coach and working mom. This is your place for insights, advice, and tools to optimize your career direction, balance, and confidence. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get into it. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the podcast for this week. Thank you for tuning in, for being here. I always really deeply appreciate you. I think of you when I'm recording, but also throughout the week, what I can bring to you. And so I just want to say that I really appreciate you being here. I'm very grateful for that. So I'm sitting here in my office on a Tuesday morning, looking out the window, which is very much winter in Melbourne as I'm recording this, even though we are pretty close to summer, about 2 weeks. So it's been interesting. It's been good weather to get things done inside the home and to work, I suppose. And it's been quite busy on the client front, which I have been loving absolutely. Because I think we're really living extraordinary times and times of change when it comes to our careers plus our lives right now. And you might be feeling that too. So this is actually a nice segue to talk about today's topic. I thought, what can I bring today? And I was inspired to talk about all the different types of coaching or support or therapy that are available to us out there. And so I wanted to have a conversation where I could break it down for you and to really make it as simple as possible, make it really practical, because I know some of you will be sitting on the fence right now and thinking, I do need some guidance. I'd like to change some parts or one part of my life, but I'm not sure what do I need. Is it a coach? Is it a psychologist? Do I need help, or is this something I can work out myself? So if that is you, you've come just to the right place. And otherwise, maybe things are fine right now. Maybe you're busy, you're not in the right headspace, as you said. But just listen out, because you might hear something today that will put you on the right track for maybe later, when you're ready and when you need it. So today we are going to talk about, what do I need? And do I need a coach, or do I need a therapist? What are the difference? What is going to work better for me? Because all of those things involve time and money, and we, especially us women, we want to make the right decision. So today I'm going to talk really from the top down, all the kind of help that you can get. And then if you want to know more about career in particular, which I do, that is my core skills, you can then listen to episode number 31, which is specifically about how to get the right career advice. If you get clear that it is about career coaching, in that episode, I give you all the nuts and bolts to find the right career coaches for you. So I give you the criteria that you need to follow, if you like. So that's a good one to listen to if it's about career. But let's just open it right up today. We're going to talk about getting guidance, because I want to talk to you about that. And then we will dig into specifically the differences between coaching versus therapy. And then I'll take you through all the different kind of coaching so that you can make an informed decision for you. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Okay, I wanted to start first talking about getting guidance and support, because I think there is a lot to do there to change a lot of the mentalities out there. It is changing, it is getting more progressive, but collectively we still need to continue on that spectrum towards more acceptance and more permission, and also more recognition of the effectiveness and the power of getting some support. And I think to that extent, the pandemic has really opened the bridge and opened the door to us getting more support, because we've been pushed so much to our edge, especially mentally and emotionally, that I believe a lot of us have started to look at some help. But that is not to say that help needs to happen when we're getting desperate. Typically, and that is a belief that has been inherited from the past generation, You get help when something is broken. You get help when something is hurting to the point, right? It's like you're going to the GP if you've got an ache. So here we're talking more mental and emotional pain. But the past generation, I'm talking mainly baby boomers and prior, that is just not something that was wired in them. You just had to toughen it out. And also there wasn't a lot of connection with their emotions. So emotional management is a concept and a skill that has really only appeared in the last 20 years. And you can see it's penetrating every area of our life and society. Emotional management. You see it in parenting with conscious parenting. You see it in workplaces with emotional intelligence. You see it in relationship with managing emotions. You see it in kids at school with managing emotions and well-being. So this is still quite new, but the past generation was very much about toughening out, not being in touch with their emotions. So you didn't need as much psychological support, basically, because you were not asking yourself a lot of the questions that you're asking yourself today. But again, we are living in different times today. We have different tools. We have different experiences of life. We have technology that completely changes our lives and brings on issues, brings on stress and anxiety, looking at social media or having, notifications beeping all day long, right? This really has impacted our nervous system way more than people 50 years ago. They didn't have to do that. As working moms these days, we can't even compare to the past generation. I have done another episode on that, on the modern women conditioning. Go and check it out. It's episode number 42. So even as working moms, we are now juggling so much that we have demands on our mind and on our emotions that are brand new, and we don't have manuals for that. We haven't been trained by our mothers to handle that. So by design, the life that we live today creates new needs for us. And what we have to do, we have to let go of the old beliefs around getting help, especially help around your mental and your emotional well-being. Different times call for different solutions. So I also want to use this podcast to raise that conversation and to remove the stigma about, you're going to the psychologist, or your child is going to the psychologist, like, something must be wrong. No way. The way that I see it is we all need guidance today. This is the state of the world we're in now. There's so much awareness and there's been so much progress in the areas of psychology and emotional management that now there are more tools. There's also way more information. You can just go on Instagram and you will see so much content that you can access that will help you in the short term with whatever you are going through. So it's like all of this is starting to come to the surface and to explode. And we have more and more practitioners. We haven't fully caught up, but we have a lot of psychologists, but not enough for the demand that there is. And the coaches, for instance, is a profession that is really booming, albeit coming off a very slow start. So I was looking actually at the stats, and the number of coaches in the world has increased by 33% in 4 years between 2015 and 2019. Just prior to the pandemic, we were sitting on 71,000 coaches worldwide, which is an estimate from the ICF, the International Coaching Federation. That is not a lot. 71,000 professional coaches for the entire world. So this is going to continue booming and growing. And I think we all going to start getting on that train of considering coaches for us, considering psychologists for us, because we are totally living in a different era, as I said, from our parents, let alone our grandparents. And it's not only okay, it's actually a positive, beneficial thing to do because you're getting on the front foot, you are learning, and you are moving forward. And I really believe that we are, as a generation, anyway, moving on with that. I have seen a chart recently that talked about the impact of the pandemic on people's mental health and well-being. And there was a chart that talked about, I'm willing to get some psychological help or support to help myself, and it broke down the result by generation. And it was just a stunning result. The millennials, even Generation Y and millennials were quite predominantly in agreement with that, like to the height of about over 60%, 60 to 80% of them were like, yeah, I know, I'm open to that. I embrace it for myself and I need it. Whilst baby boomers were like in the 40%. And it was just that stark contrast. So if you're listening to this podcast, you're very likely to be Gen X and beyond. So you get it. And also by leading by example, by talking to people to destigmatize it, you will help raise the conscious collective around it. And that's what I'm here to do as well. So we need to let go of the belief that we go somewhere when something is broken or when we have like an injury. Yes, we absolutely do need that. Let me say, I'm not saying just toughen it out. Of course, this is about self-care. And that works. And in those instances, that serves a purpose, that is to heal. But what happens is all the times as well where we don't seek help because nothing is broken, or at least not broken yet. And why is it not broken? It's because we're not doing anything about it. We're sitting in it, we're simmering in it, we're trying to work it out, and we are thinking and sometimes overthinking it, and we just get stored into that place and that place and that place. And what I see happening these days is that we don't quite see that we need an external person to help us, or we don't know which person. And that's why I am doing this episode, because I've seen it. I've seen people literally just seen a post about a career coach and then go, oh, actually, maybe that's what I need. So I find we still need to connect the dot between how we're feeling and who can help us. And that's what I want to talk about today. So the whole why about seeking guidance is that unless we do, we are living an okay life. We're living what we know, what feels familiar. And to some extent, we have adapted and adjusted to kind of carry that thing, whatever it is, or the several things that we have. And we might think it's no big deal, or we are too busy, or we need to focus on other people first. And we kind of just go through life carrying that backpack. And at times, I'll tell you what has happened and what happens with a lot of people is that the backpack gets heavier. Whether you just little by little, it's eroding your resilience with it and you just have enough after a while, or just life actually loads it up for you, which sounds really unfair, but I like to see it as life actually giving you a little boost, a little kick to get moving and to get some change happening. So are you carrying a backpack? How long have you been carrying the backpack? And what is it for you? Because we kind of all have that. I can guarantee, I could bet it if I was asking every single of the listeners here, what is your backpack? What is the thing that isn't working for you? What is the thing you're putting forward for later when you can, or you have no idea how to solve in your life? We all have it, because there is just what we are as human beings. We're meant to evolve, we're meant to grow, and that goes through change, and we need the help. So we all have fear somewhere. We may be stuck, or we hashing some issues in our head. And that is most of us. That is where I see this isn't about fixing something that is broken. Here it's about enabling something that is ready to happen, or that needs to happen. Otherwise something will get broken surely down the track. But we are in that state ahead of it, prior to it, and we're not doing it because we don't know how, or we're stuck. So to me, that's nearly as bad as having something broken. Because when something is broken, you do the duty of fixing it. But in that space, you are actually living life not to your full potential, not even, but you are just kind of occurring a cost to your life every single day by not getting clarity, by not getting unblocked, and by letting it kind of, simmer and sit there on the side. Plus, it probably has a ripple effect on some of the people, the relationship around you as well, because you are not truly living your best life. So I hope I've got you on board here and that you understand that you don't need to have a disease. You don't need to have a condition. You do not need to have those big fat labels and be afraid of that in order to go and consult with a psychologist or to hire a coach. None of that. You are here because you're taking responsibility for your life and you want better for yourself. And you've tried everything by yourself. And you're ready to get some help because you're investing in yourself, because you want to move forward. So that is what I celebrate you for. And that's what we're here for. And that's what I want to inspire you to do. And I will share honestly with you, like I have been getting a lot of help in my life, especially in the last 5 years. So prior to that, I probably relied more on medical help. And we know it only solves some problems because often what happens in the body comes from something that's happening in the mind, right? We've all, I'm sure, have had examples of that. But in the last 5 years, I've been investing in whatever help I have needed at the time. And it has taken different forms for me. I have had a career coach when I really needed to rethink my career and change direction. I went and used a business coach when I had set up my business and I needed it to kick up more. I have used a life coach for quite a number of months as well to teach me everything about my emotional management. And I have used a psychologist on and off, and especially in the last 12 months when I was going through my separation and the huge challenges that it created for me. So I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be the person that I am today without all of those people in my life that I went to, that I sought out, and that I listened to and I did the work with. I just, I credit them a lot for their support. And I credit myself for having gone and taken the help and continuously doing it. So if anything, take my example and see there is no shame. There is only pride that I have. And I'm sitting here very comfortably telling you, yeah, of course I have gone and sought some help. And it's not about like, oh, I should have someone always in my life to do things for me. It's not about that. It's what is it that you need right now? And I guarantee you, every single one of us needs something. And also as emotional management is becoming more widespread, you can see basically pretty much any of us needs help because any of us has had parents and basically all of us have got some kind of emotional baggage from it. And chances are it's not helping you exactly living your life today because we live in a completely different environment. So if you're interested in that, namely, I recommend, and I'll link it in the show note, that you follow the holistic psychologist, Dr. Nicole Perda in the US, because she is bringing a lot of that knowledge to the masses. And you can even just start there, following psychologists, following coaches online, and see what they teach, see what they share, see what they explain, the concept, and see if they relate to you and if you can apply some of that and already see some changes. It's a very good start. Start there, and then start after you establish a connection and you get value from them and you trust them. That's when you can take the next step. So now that we've made the case that all of us are completely cool to go and get some help, I want to talk about the differences between psychotherapy and coaching, because I know that's the main question that comes up. I have some clients that come to me, but they're wondering whether they should hire a career coach or a psychologist. Or at times as well, I have clients who do both concurrently, and that's completely fine. What are the differences basically between the two? So psychotherapy has got more of a past focus. It's about helping you deal with some events that have happened in the past that have affected you to some great depth and probably still affect you today. It's about healing, and it has more of a long-term view. Like you're not gonna, after one session, have felt a massive shift. It's about fixing very much a situation by understanding the root causes and using specific techniques and therapies to help you heal. So things typically don't change over time, and there's really often a focus on mental health. So depending where you are on the spectrum, because if you've let things go for a long time, your mental health may be at a certain level that really needs psychotherapy. So typically if you have ongoing issues of anxiety, depression, or if you're dealing with a specific grief or loss or a trauma that happened to you in the past. So it could be a work-related trauma. And I have had some clients that have had such a traumatic experience, not many luckily, but it happens in the workplace from bullying or from being made redundant at least once, sometimes more than that. And it has impacted them on a traumatic level, on sometimes the subconscious level, because there were other things underlying. So for those clients, psychotherapy is the first step because they need to heal that, because otherwise they will not have the full strength to build and look forward. So on the other hand, coaching is, so what psychotherapy looks at the past and healing, coaching is about unlocking someone's potential. And it has that future focus. It looks at what do we want? What is the goal? And often produce immediate results. Like one session of coaching, you already see some results. It's about enabling change, and the ownership is on you. So the psychologist will tell you what is going on and what to do. Whilst in coaching, the coach is more on the sideline and is pointing at things, is enabling things in you, but you have the shift. You think through the options. You come up with the answers. And there is that dance of trust. Obviously, you have trust with your coach, but also your coach will challenge you a little bit and poke you and push you in different corners in order to change your perception of your reality. So it is very empowering and it is building your self-confidence. So see the difference was in the psychology therapy, it's more that you're not that empowered until you really feel better. In coaching, you're empowered from the get-go if you have a good coach. And there's a lot more questioning going on. Whilst in psychotherapy, there's a lot more listening going on and it takes time to unearth what's happening. What's common between the two is the quality of the relationship is key. Good coaches, good psychotherapists have got great compassion. They have the same principle of confidentiality and respect and freedom and let the people be themselves. And we also leave our personal experience at the door. Make sure whoever you use, whether it's a coach or psychologist, they don't sit in their own personal views and personal experience throughout the therapy or the coaching. This is why we have two different kinds, and I hope that helps you decide. Because what I would say is, if you're not feeling like you are functioning well cognitively and in your head because you're affected by too much anxiety, too much depression, like we all have those emotions on a daily basis, right? We feel anxious about something. We don't all need psychotherapy. But if you're there too long or too often every day, that is why you need it. Because what I have found is coaching can be a good addition to it and you can run it in parallel, but you do need that basic level where you are not being as affected. If you like it is like an interference to the coaching process because you cannot work on your future potential if you're feeling really low and feeling really bad about yourself and you're kind of anxious about many things in your life. Like you are not going to get the clarity. You're not going to get the energy to do that. And also I see it in clients when you basically feel too powerless. You feel like it's all happening to you and you kind of given up and you're feeling like stuck a bit, feeling like a victim, like you just can't get a hold of it. That's when you need more psychotherapy. And so I will tell you as a coach, when you come to me and we talk about it, because I'm experienced in that, I can spot it, I can see it. And I will tell you, you came to me for coaching, but I actually think right now you need to see a psychologist in order to heal some of those things. And very often I say that to people that are ready to sign up with me. And I will say, go and do this first. And I'll give them referrals too. And I say, when you feel better, then come and we'll do career coaching. So it happens more in that order. Because when you're under a lot of overwhelm, a lot of emotional confusion, and, and literally you might be feeling quite emotional on a daily basis, that is when, you're being easily triggered, that is when you need a psychologist first. So it's completely okay. I will tell you. And at times it has happened too that I've had to pause the coaching because initially the person was going okay, but without the psychological support that I cannot provide, I'm not qualified for it, I can see the coaching is not working enough because they're not changing, because there are other issues underneath that over time as we're working together unfold. And so then in those instances, we just pause. So I see those two things that they can work in parallel, and they definitely work in complement with each other. And there is no shame to have. I would say probably about 40% of my clients do both or have done one then the other. So I hope that helps you clarify where you need to start if that's you. And you can always come to me and I will tell you whether career coaching is right for you. Okay, so we have spoken about psychology versus coaching in general. Now, I just want to go quickly through the different other types of support that you can get. And I'm not going to cover all of them because I'll be here for a long time, but the main ones. So there is counseling as well. So counseling, I see it as being somewhere in between psychology and life coaching. A counselor will be someone that is a great listener, that has a lot of empathy. So it's a good place to go to if you have some blockages linked to emotions and that you don't fully understand. You just know you're feeling a certain way negatively and you just want some emotional relief. You want to understand. Like counselors are great for that and they are perfectly trained for that. They're not as trained as a psychologist, like the extent of their knowledge isn't the same, but they are really, really good at establishing the rapport and listening to you and formulating back to you what they see is happening and giving you advice as to what you can do next. So some of the advice can actually be to go and see a psychologist, for instance. So they are really good first start to go to. Or, for instance, they are really good for relationship issues with couple counseling because it is kind of that first step where you come and you can talk about the feelings without being judged and have someone there to just listen to you and then who is going to start to suggest actions in place. My word of advice, if you are not feeling good at work or you have personal issues that affect your work life, some companies offer an EAP, which is an employee assistance program that has counselors. My advice is to not use your company's one. Why? Because as much as there will be good counselors, no doubt about that, those counselors, like those agencies, are really like vendors and they report back to the organization. They will not have detailed information back to the organization, but they will be giving them the straight main lines as to what kind of topic or problems have been discussed. So it's not good for the confidentiality, let's be honest here. So I would always advise that you go and seek an external counselors. There are a lot of them. The only thing I will say is questioning, can they help you enough? And because they can only help you so far, and they are not training you to find your own answers. So that will give you short-term relief, yes, but then you probably need, once you start feeling better, a life coach or a psychologist, if depending what is going on. So that's counseling. Then there is also mentoring, and you can pay to get the mentor. You can get one for free, that's even better, in your company or through someone that you know and you ask. But a mentor is quite different. A mentor is someone that has been there and done that, basically. So if you are going through a challenge or if you're trying to reach a goal, if you find someone that has been there and done that, they're perfect for mentoring for you. And you should ask for that. They shouldn't coach you. They should give it to you straight, saying, this is what you need to do. Follow my lead. Or you could say to them, I'm doing this and that and it's not working. And then they should be giving you straight advice like, I know I've been doing that. This is what you're doing wrong. So, and that's more a sounding board, if you like, than any kind of psychological work. It will just give you tactics and concrete actions to do. And they can also recommend other guidance. But so it really serves a purpose when you know exactly what it is that you want and you know someone that has done it. This is a way to fast track you. So you learn from people that have already been there and you don't have to go through all the challenges yourself to work it out. And then there is coaching. And within coaching, like there's a huge bag, if you like, a lot of different things that fall under coaching. So there's career coaching, which I do, which is about ensuring that your career is aligned with your needs and who you are. And this could happen because you just decide to reassess that, or because you've been redeployed. So there's different reasons why you will come to career coaching, but in essence, it's to make sure that you have a job that you enjoy and that is aligned with your needs and your values in life. Then close to that, there is leadership coaching or executive coaching if you're quite high up. So those type of coaching focus more on developing yourself professionally, especially pinpointing some of the blind spots that you may have that derail you to be a good manager, a good boss, or to grow in your career. So very much focus on those skills, on how to enhance them or how to show you some of your blind spots. Then there is life coaching, which I also offer. So if you're new to the podcast, you may not have heard me talk about it. So I'll tell you briefly. I will put the link in the show notes today. It's at careercatchup.com/life coaching. And I have launched an introductory offer this year. So you can just do 3 sessions of life coaching, which will be way enough to provide those immediate results that we talked about today with coaching. But that will give you a really nice taste of it, and it is a very affordable price. So I invite you to look it up if life coaching resonates with you. So what it does, it is to give you clarity and to help you understand your thoughts, feelings, and options, and also what actions to take in one or several areas of your personal life. Whatever may be going on, like this, we're talking really, really wide. It could be your health, it could be your relationship, it could be your finances, it could be hobbies, the way you spread and divide your time. It could be many, many things. And that's why actually there are now specialist coaches that are emerging, like different niches that are emerging that all relate to life coaching. Now you can go and see a life coach in general because it's always the same, right? It's always the same techniques and approach and principle. But some coaches have got more experience because they have gone through something themselves and they decide to hone in on a niche. So now there's just new things, right? I've seen some divorce coaches. I've seen an ADHD coach. There are obviously relationship coaches, weight loss coaches, health coaches, wellness coaches. So all of that falls under life coach. So I'm not someone who is specialized in one specific area. I will help you because I have mastered my coaching skills over time. And I do know now that there's so much more than career that goes on, and especially really good with all the psychological aspect, the mindset aspect, when we have some stress in our life, when we're struggling with balance, or when we're trying to reach a goal and it's just a little bit too hard, or just we keep sabotaging ourselves. So that is the kind of life coaching that I offer around stress management, around relationship, around getting to that personal goal that you want to do and you want to take. And until you do, you're just going to keep thinking like your life isn't quite complete. So if you're interested, go and check the website at careercatchup.com/life coaching and just sign up, because it's a very low cost to entry and really great opportunity for you to see the impact that it can make very quickly in your life. And then there is also business coaching. So for any of you who are thinking about a new business, and I would actually recommend that you do it quite early on. And there are different levels within business coaching. Like there's the ones that help you start it, and there are the ones that then help you to scale it. And then there's even the ones at the top that help you kind of maintain a level of success. So there's everything. There's also team and group coaching to help with team building. And there are also performance coaches that are specifically appointed to help an employee who is having performance management issues. And usually they work with the employer and the employee to put strategies in place to close the gaps. So see, there are all of those different professions and they exist, and you just need to go and research and inquire around. And in my experience, when you are ready for a specific type of help, from coaching to mentoring to counseling to psychology, like when you are ready, the right person comes up. Like you hear about someone, you see something, or you just happen to talk to someone who mentioned something related to that. So open your ears, because usually also the right person will come forward for you as well. So that's it. That's what I had for you today. I hope you feel clearer on what may apply to you. And as usual, I'm going to leave you with a key takeaway. Number one is there is no stigma around getting some support and some guidance. We live in a different world where emotional management is now paramount and is unlocking people's potential. Takeaway number two, you need to find the right approach based on your current state. So if you have a goal and you want some change and you're feeling okay, but you're not getting where you want to get to, like you don't know how, you are perfect for coaching. On the other hand, if you are not feeling strong, if you've got some ongoing emotional issues or lack of clarity, stress and emotion, psychotherapy or counselling are probably going to be the best place for you. Takeaway number three, just try it to see the benefits. Like the worst thing that you can do is not do anything at all. And especially some of those, you won't know what the impact will be until you do it. So give it a try. Here's my last takeaway. And typically with coaching, for instance, all coaches should do a discovery call for you. So just go and start with that. If it's a psychologist, just do one session. And if they're not the right fit for you, stop. But then find another one and keep trying until you find the right one. Basically, don't just sit here not unlocking your potential or putting up with some level of negative emotion regularly. You know, it's like put your house in order, because the benefit for you are going to be so big. The boost of energy you're going to get, the clarity, and the level of happiness that awaits you once you take that action is there, I guarantee you. And you just got to find the right person for you. So as usual, know that I'm here for you, and you can contact me through my Facebook group or private message on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram at Career Catch Up. So if you want to ask a question, just go for it. This is what I'm here for, and I can be the first step to guide you towards whatever it is that you need. So I wish you all the best with finding the right person or the right guidance for you. And I wish you all a beautiful week. Take care of yourself, and I'll speak with you soon. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to find out more information, you can visit my website at careercatchup.com. There you will find blog articles, free resources, a self-study course for your career direction, and ways to work with me. It's at careercatchup.com. I hope to continue to connect with you and support you. Talk to you soon.